love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't be scared. Just give me up. Don't be scared. I'm so gone, no I'm never turning back. I won't stop, I'ma fight until there's nothing left. It's so on, you're gonna be hurting bad. Cause I've been to hell and back. You don't wanna make me mad. I stay strong, you will never see me crack. And if you get in my way, you gonna feel the wrath. Gotta say it to my face while he's looking back. Mirror breaks after math. When I hate, I attack. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't be scared. Just give me up. Don't be scared.
Located just outside of Castle Donington, Donington Park is considered one of Britain's most loved tracks, holding its inaugural race all the way back in 1931, and in fact it was only a dirt track at the time. Even so, over 20,000 spectators came from all around the UK to watch the race, and since then Donington has really only gone from strength to strength, and today still remains a favourite in the eyes of the British motorsport fans. It's currently a staple in the British GT, British Superbikes, British Touring Car and many more calendars, and it's very easy to see why the crane occurs. Some of the most iconic pieces of British racetrack, all the way down through turns 2, 3 and 4, and of course that tricky final chicane. And well, it's certainly the place where we will be kicking off the SRL TCR Season 4. Today we have the media day where drivers will have a little bit of a practice run. My name is Seb Bosher-Williams and I'll be in the commentary booth bringing you all the action today. As you see at the moment, qualifying very much underway. So 1 minute and 15 seconds into qualifying, nobody setting a lap time yet, but let me tell you, practice was very, very busy, and I really think that it's going to be exactly the same today. As we just watch Stephen Fry at the moment, the number 33 Hyundai, just coming around to start his first qualifying lap. Where can he put his Hyundai today? Crosses the start-finish line, runs down into turn 1. We'll ride on board, so brake late, get the car turned in for turn number 1, Redgate corner. So easy to run wide on the exit. In fact, Stephen does a little bit of that, then down the Craner Curves, turns 2, technically Hollywood corner, and then you're into the Craner Curves as they are formerly known on the track map. A little bit of a lift out of the throttle there, tyres not into temperature, down through turn 5, the odd hairpin runs a little bit wide. That might just be a 1X invalidation under the bridge that is no longer there. If anybody's been to the track in recent times, that bridge very much disappeared from the real layout. Now, into McLean's corner, one of my favourite corners in fact. There's a great viewing opportunity just as you enter the turn of Coppice corner. Such a great spot to go and watch some racing, I have to say. Through Coppice corner, the double right-hander down the back straight. Now, depending on what layout, it really dictates where you're going to be on the straight. This time we're very much sticking to the left-hand side, stamping the brakes late, trying to get the nose turned in for the right, then the left-hander of the Roberts chicane across the start-finish straight. Fairly tidy lap from Stephen Fry. I don't think that was the quickest though. He can go with John Brown heading to the top of the timing stands. El Neal now replaces him with a 1 minute 13.174. Many drivers completing their laps. Where can Stuart Gibbons go? Dan Mould heads to the top of the timing stands. 1 minute 12.9, very firmly now into the 1 minute 12. Arthur Thurtle, he's on a little bit of a storming lap at the moment. You see him there heading up into 3rd place. So Arthur Thurtle, after really wowing us with his pace 1 week ago in the GT4 Championship, coming back very strong in the TCRs. Everybody bar one, that's Sexa Castro, is out on the circuit at the moment. Callum Reid Garton, where can he go? So comes through the Roberts chicane. He's going to cross the timing beam. It's quite a late timing beam here. Can catch a few drivers out. Reid Garton really finding the pace. Up into 2nd. Only 2 tenths or so. Well, he was 2nd until Neil Stevenson took the honours from him. Stevenson getting within 1/10 of Mould, but Mark Draper to the top of the timing stand. Superb lap by him. El Neal goes even faster now. Neal is the pole sitter. We just see more drivers now completing their laps. Where can Dan Mould go? He can go to the top of the timing stands with a whopping 1 minute 12.254. Severely quicker, you have to say, than everybody else. Arthur Thurtle responds, can only just about get within that 3/10 barrier to Mould. So it's Dan Mould, Thurtle, Neal, your top 3. Where can Dudley go? Hasn't managed to set a lap time yet. First one I think was invalidated. Dudley up to 10th. Good for him. He'll really need that after, I think, struggling on his opening lap or so. Through the final chicane we go. This is Callum Reid Garton. Was once in 2nd place about a minute and a half ago. That's all changed. He's now down in 8th. Where can he go? Up to 2nd. Only 0.05 of a second off Dan Mould. So Reid Garton looking like a contender for today's race. Really interesting to see where he will come out in today's festivities. Stephen Burns has gone into the pits. He's completed his 3 allotted laps. Krzysztof Malachowski, he's in 17th at the moment with 16th. Walters improved just a few moments ago. Can the 41 improve? Yes, he can. Up into 3rd. Superb lap from him, but the driver behind him, purple sector 1, not quicker though through sectors 2 and 3. Thurtle does not improve. And is that crucial for Arthur Thurtle's race today? He can no longer take part in qualifying, so 4th will be the best spot that our number 74 driver can start from today. As we just head through the second to last lap. So Reid Garton improves to go almost within 0.03 of a second of Dan Mould. Superb qualifying by him there. Do apologise. I believe we're having a little bit of an issue with the broadcast. Trying our very best to fix that as soon as possible. Draper improves to go 0.07 of a second quicker than Mould, so a whopping 0.04 of a second improvement over his previous attempt. Having a look at the moment, Arthur Thurtle, purple through sector 1 and 2. As far as I'm aware, this will not count. This will not count towards his qualifying time, and in fact, it doesn't. So Thurtle really improving in that final lap, but can't improve. So qualifying very much done and dusted. Nobody really out there on the track at the moment improving. Dexter Castro is now out of the pits. You can see him on your screen at the moment, one of a few Audi drivers. The other Audi driver, in fact, is Mark Draper, who is currently at the top of the timing stands. We're very quickly going to go to a little bit of a technical intermission, and we'll be back very soon to bring you the grid and any updates that have happened in the qualifying session so far. So, welcome back to qualifying. Hopefully all the technical gremlins have very much disappeared. We'll have to very much wait and see on that one. Do apologise, but not much has changed in terms of the overall picture. Dexter Castro did not get a lap in fact, just couldn't really find his qualifying time. But here is your grid for the first race today, and it's Mark Draper at the top of the timing stands, 1 minute 12.246. Dan Mould, 0.07 of a second, will start alongside him in second. Callum Reid-Garton in third, only 0.01 of a second behind him. Malazowski in fourth, Thurtle in fifth. Al Neal will line up sixth, and on the third row of the grid, Stephen Fry seventh, Craig Walters in eighth place, Alan McCain ninth, and Neil Stephenson rounding out your top 10. Ben Denyer in 11th, Mark Brown in 12th place. Further down the field in 13th, Daniel Wareham, Elliot James in 14th, with Stephen Burns in 15th, Stuart Gibbons 16th, Scott Malcolm in 17th place, Ryan Dudley 18th, John Brown 19th, Andrew Lovesey is in 20th place, Fraser Geraghty 21st, with Derek Crowther in 22nd, Jay Calais in 33rd, with Zandra Longzhao in 24th, Daniel Lewis 25th, and Dexter Castro in 26th, and last place And wow, what a race do we have in store for you today. The first heat of today's events, and we all look towards the Audi and we get underway, and it's a good start from your leading two. In fact, Dan Mould a little bit tardy off the start, all clean in the background as we head down towards turn number 1. Mould has a little bit of a look on the inside. Look at that, that's Riedgarten trying to make his way through as well in the background as we head now down the Craner curves for the first time. Everything looking fairly even. Malazowski being challenged by Thurtle. That's a scrap for 4th place. We head through the old hairpin. Malazowski a little bit wide of the mark. Everybody though filing through. They're managing to maintain their positions, and Mark Brown is the first driver. He's in 10th to make up a position from the start of the race. Riedgarten diving down the inside. Mould and Riedgarten side by side as they head up towards turn number 8. They all get through it. Riedgarten in 2nd, Mould in 3rd. Riedgarten pushed out wide. That's huge drama there for the number 22. Flash of the lights for good measure. Malazowski now up into 3rd. Riedgarten demoted into 4th place. Mould though keeping it all neat and tidy through the chicane. And Riedgarten once again running wide. Who's that in the background? That's Neil running extra wide. Drivers really struggling on the opening lap, but Mark Draper still leads from Dan Mould. Malazowski now in 3rd place. Now the drivers have been warned to be wary of the opening few laps. The tyres have changed. We've had an update to iRacing since the last time that these drivers would have driven these cars, at least in an SRL TCR event. So very different conditions and very different way of warming up the tyres. Mould a little bit wide through the old hairpin. It's going to give a huge opportunity to Christoph Malazowski, the number 41 high and die, to try and make his way all the way around the outside of McLean's corner. Cannot find a way through. What he tried to do, what Riedgarten tried to do one lap ago, dive it to the inside through Coppice's corner. No, he cannot. As we have a look back at the field, and we see a car off the track, a Honda, very wide. In fact, there's a car in the background, a high and die, that almost certainly has made contact, in fact, with the barrier. And we see, if we can have a look, so that's Daniel Wareham. I think he did not actually start the race, so not quite sure of what's happened to him. And was this what happened to Ryan Dudley? So Dudley rejoining the track, and I think we've just missed the action, but that's some heavy damage to Ryan Dudley's car. It has a spin for good measure. Oh, in the background there, car running very wide through the final corner. Not what you want to do whatsoever. While that was happening, we've had a change, as always is the case, for 2nd place. So Riedgarten, or Garten now in 2nd, with Malazowski in 3rd, Thurtle 4th, and what has happened to Dan Mould? Dan Mould off the track once again. That's at the old hairpin, and that's not the first time, I believe, that car has been in the barrier, but huge disappointment for Dan Mould. You see him trying to rejoin the track, but he is very much done and dusted for the first race today. Huge drama as we have a look at Christoph, the number 41 high and die, heading down towards the braking zone of the Roberts chicane. What can he do? Currently in 3rd, up 1 place from where he started. So let's have a look and see what happened to Dan Mould. He's backwards through Coppice corner down towards the old hairpin. So we caught him just about there when it all started to go wrong for our 2nd place starter. Mould now in the pits. So just trying to find and look and see exactly what happened and what could have caused him to be backwards. A very strange incident there. Mark Brown, he's in 7th place at the moment, but right behind him Burns, Denyer, McCain and Stephenson, all very close together. I wonder, will we see a move? You see on your timing tower, that battle for 7th really goes all the way down to Stephen Fry in 12th place. Thurtle under pressure from Neil up ahead. Neil almost trying to make it side by side as they head down now towards the braking zone. Right on board with L. Neil, can you get late on the brakes? Can he make the move into the chicane? The side by side, a little bit of contact there, forces Thurtle up onto the inside. There's a car off in the background. I do believe that's Dan Mould just getting out of the way. I think he's still limping back to the pits. But Neil now up into 5th place. There's a car on the pit exit, very patiently waiting. As it's just such a difficult pit exit here. There's a very polite Audi driver. Don't tend to see many of them on the roads. Thurtle now demoted into 5th place. Walters in 6th, and Neil running away with that 4th place. Thurtle under pressure. You don't really tend to see that much, or I don't tend to see that too often, I should say. Thurtle really struggling for pace. Fraser Geraghty trying to make a move on Lovesey. Looks to the outside, can't find a way through. Tries the inside. This is just as a Schwartz curve up towards McLean's corner. Geraghty, though, really cannot find a way past Lovesey. Lovesey doing exactly what he needs to do in terms of putting the car at the right point of the track to keep him ahead of Fraser Geraghty. So 6 minutes gone in this 20-minute race. See Geraghty once again under pressurising Lovesey as Lovesey gets tapped. Has to go all across the gravel through the hairpin. Manages to keep the position. I think, in fact, Geraghty there. Sorry, Lovesey. Oh, sorry, I do apologise. That's Geraghty and Crowther, isn't it? So Crowther backing out and Geraghty just managing to survive. Runs a little bit wide, though, through turn 1 for good measure. As I was saying, though, we're 6 or almost 7 minutes now through the first 20-minute race. Draper in 1st place, Reed Garton 2nd, Malazowski in 3rd, and Neil, Thurtle, Walters now in the battle for 4th place. L. Neil managed to get past Thurtle a few laps ago, but Thurtle finding his pace once again and now starting to pressurise L. Neil. It's Hyundai versus Hyundai. So no real car advantage, but I wonder what can Thurtle do? He knows that Nell was successful at overtaking him through this very portion of the track. Look how much curve they both take. Very committed, you have to say, through those 2 corners. Burns, though, under pressure once again. This battle for 7th, it was, you know, from 7th down to 12th. You can now count Brown and Lovesey into the mix as well. So it's very much up for grabs of who is going to be anywhere near the top 10. That's a dive down to the inside. Denyer on Brown. Denyer can't find a way through. Brown will just about keep that position for now, but Denyer really looking strong at this phase of the race, heading down the Craner curves up towards the old hairpin. He's going to brake as late as possible. Still trying to find a way through. Brown still in 8th place. Denyer in 9th. They're side by side, though, in the background. That's Denyer and McCain. McCain sends it to the inside, can't find a way through. Denyer has gone from attacking to defending, but does so very successfully in the background there. There's a right old scrap between Stephenson, Fry and John Brown. We have a look at Stephen Fry. He's in the middle of this Hyundai sandwich. Looks to the inside, can't find a way through. Pulls right back into the slipstream. Does he feel brave? Does he feel like he wants to brake late? Thinks about it. Oh, but sends it to the inside. They're going to go side by side, the 33 and the 16. A little bit of contact there as we see they're almost 4 wide on the straight. And watch this Audi. That's Andrew Lovesey. Here going to go 4 wide on the back straight. Superb racing so far. Are they all going to make it out as they stamp into the brakes into turn 1? Yes, they are. And not only are they going to survive, but Andrew Lovesey has gone all the way from 13th up in, from 15th up into 11th. 4 cars he has overtaken. Onto the brakes we go. A little bit wide, though, of the mark for Andrew Lovesey. That might give a little bit of an incentive to John Brown to make the move as they head up now towards McLean's corner. Lovesey in 11th. That Audi doing an absolutely superb job at the moment. He looks a little bit to the inside, tries to defend, won't find a way through there. There was a flash of the lights there from Brown. Superb racing we're seeing so far. 9 minutes and 45 seconds gone of the race so far. I think Elliot James has just gone off the track, run a little bit wide through turn 1. He's going to get away with that. James down into 23rd place. Up towards the front of your field, though, Reed Garton finding pace out there at the moment. Draper started off very strong, but cannot really find the pace in the last few laps. And in fact, just judging by their last lap times, you see Reed Garton not only was a tenth or so quicker than Draper, but actually set the fastest lap of the race for good measure. That's what the purple of the lap time indicates. Olezowski wide through McLean's corner coppice. We head Reed Garton now right on the back of your race leader. Don't think he's thinking about making a move at the moment. I think Daniel Lewis is off the track once again. Yes, he is. That's through the old hairpin. Manages to get away too cleanly. Ben Denyer making a move though. Sorry, being overtaken. I think he's got a slowdown, in fact. All of these cars look very similar. So Alan McCain making his way past. He's now up into 9th place. Denyer demoted to 10th, so it's McCain's chance, an opportunity to get past Brown and Burns. So that battle for 7th now really extends all the way down to Crowther in 16th place. A little bit of a lock-up there from Brown. That's going to give a huge run for McCain, but just about manages to keep it out of the wall. Draper falling down the order in 2nd place. He's lost out to Reed Garden. Was that a mistake? I wonder. But Draper very much now losing the position. He's in 2nd place. See if we can get a replay of what happened. And yeah, as I suspected, Draper making a mistake, Reed Garton just going right around the outside and getting that move done. So Caleb Reed Garton, your new race leader, with 8 or so minutes left to go on the clock. He's looking a very strong contender, I should say, for the race win. Actually, Olezowski in 3rd, starting to gain on our former race leader Draper, and then thankfully for them, they've got a huge gap back to P4, 5 and 6, Neil, Thurtle and Walters. So it's very much the same order they were in a few laps ago. Oh, that's very wide from Walters. Manages to scoop up a whole chunk of oversteer in the background, and be thankful in fact that he has a front wheel drive car. Brown though losing a little bit of a position as he head out of turn 1 down the Crater curves. Brown now in 9th place. McCain up to 8th. So McCain really making true on his promise, but McCain very wide. That's going to allow 1 place to be changed, if not 2 and 3. We head up now towards McLean's corner. Brown lost one place to Burns, might lose another one in the background. Into the braking zone we go of McLean's corner. Brown and Denyer now getting involved. What can Denyer do? Does he have a look at the inside, I should say, heading towards Coppice corner? Can't find a way through. We'll have to think about another place to overtake Mark Brown. Alan McCain coming under pressure at the well in the back of this pack. What can Brown do? Onto the brakes. Actually, Denyer now being under the most amount of pressure. Draper's runs wide through turn 1. Your former race leader's race goes from bad to worse. He started a few laps ago in 1st and now finds himself in 3rd after making another mistake. That's very late from Lovesley down the inside. Going to be contact. Very British touring car-esque. Lovesley manages to make the move so far. He's trying to out-drag his fellow Audi competitor down the Craner curves. In the background, the 212 car of McCain getting involved in the action. Tries to go all the way around the outside of turn 3. Can he have a look down into the old hairpin? No, he can't. So Lovesley now up into 9th place. Brown 8th. Burns in 7th, but McCain and Brown in the background. They're having a right old scrap over 11th overall. McCain loses out at this point so far. But we just see the two ahead of him, Denyer and Lovesey, fall or just starting to drift away. And if McCain and Brown continue to really fight like this, you have to say it's really looking like, you know, Denyer and Lovesey can start to get into a battle of their own. So Brown heads through the Robertson chicane, nice and tidy, followed by Lovesey. Then Denyer, he's in 10th place. John Brown in 11th, and then a whole scrap behind them. They're going 3 wide in the background. That's Fry. We might even try and go 4 wide once again. A little bit of an optical illusion. Down the inside goes to 33. That's Fry. Oh, there's contact. 2 of them make contact. They go spinning wide. You see Crowther on the grass. Somehow they almost relatively to keep in the right direction. But Derek Crowther demoted into 16th place. Let's see what went on. So you see just the 33 down the inside, tries to make the move, and 3 into 1 certainly does not go. And that's unfortunately how Crowther's race came to a little bit of a premature end, at least that battle that was brewing fairly nicely. Now Brown's in a really tricky position at the moment. He's got Lovesey right behind him, Denyer, Brown and McCain. They're all within a second of each other, so all gaining the benefit of the slipstream. As they head towards the Robertson chicane, Lovesey looks to the inside. He's been a master of overtaking and really maximising his potential. He's done that. He set Lovesey up, Brown up, sorry, really nicely on the run down towards turn 1, and now look at this, we've got Brown and Denyer having a battle. They're going to go 3 wide once again into turn 1. A little bit of contact between Brown and Denyer. Now Brown is going to capitalise. That is John Brown in the background, so Mark Brown making his way through the number 7. He's up into 9th. Now we've got John Brown in 10th. Stamp on the brakes for the old hairpin. A little bit wide there for Lovesey. Lovesey going to come under pressure, I think, from Mark Brown as they head up towards McLean's corner. They're going to go on the outside. Can't really find a way through there. Brown's not going to find his way through. Not going to find his way up into 8th place at the moment. But now, look at this. The battle of the Browns. John Brown heads it down the inside through Coppins. A little bit of contact made between the 2 drivers. Ben Denyer in the background, though. He's going to try and do his best Lovesey impression. Try and really pick his way through the scrapping Hyundais up ahead of him. Brown tries to go around the outside. He's going to run wide. He's off into the gravel. How will he rejoin? He's got to be careful. The other Brown's off the track. John Brown has gone wide, so it was Mark Brown who made the first mistake, and it was Mark Brown who, unfortunately for him, made the second one, and that's really elevated Denyer now up into 10th place. That's very wide there from Stephenson. Off the track he goes, and really now has to crawl his way back on to the track. So Denyer up into 9th, Brown in 10th. And wow, what an incredible battle we saw there. Mark Draper, meanwhile, has been really quietly, consistently just getting on with the job at hand, and now finds himself right behind Belazowski heading up towards the Robertson chicane. Nice and tidy through there. Fry gets past McCain in the background, but they both run wide. That really could have been Draper's opportunity to make the move up into 2nd place, but Draper still, I have to say, languishing in 3rd. Draper, of course, started on pole, led for most of the race. A few mistakes have seen him all the way back into 3rd. Stephen Fry, though, I think has had some form of issue out on the track. Alan McCain's off. That's at the braking zone into the Robertson chicane. I think that involved Fry and Alan McCain. Yes, it did. So heading up now towards the braking zone. Oh, and just got on to the grass. I think that was McCain. And Fry sent spinning. Lucky, in fact, that he didn't hit the gravel trap. So he's now in 18th place, down 9 places from where he started. Great wide shot there. Just really seeing how hilly Donington is, and I think if anybody's tried to push a wheelchair around Donington, you'll know how hilly it can be. A little bit of contact there between Denyer and Brown. Brown carrying so much extra speed through the apex apex of the corner, made a little bit of contact, but everybody got away fairly scot-free. Garrity trying to find his way past Crowther, after being down in 16th place, finds himself back up into 12th, and if I get my rules right, which I'm sure I have, he will start from the reverse grid pole for race number 2. White flag flies, 1 lap to go here for the first race in today's action-packed heat format. It's a battle really for second place. We've got a battle for 9th, and then the battle for the final spot in the top 12, and who will be on the reverse grid pole. Stephen Fry comes into the pits, clearly a little bit more damage on his car after that contact. You saw Brown and Denyer side by side. Denyer a little bit wide, and Brown now finding his way past. And look at this, the other Brown trying to find his way through. Mark Brown gets the place, and Denyer goes from 9th all the way down to 11th, as we see Reed Garden going to come across the line to win race number 1. A superb effort from him, a flash of the lights as well for good measure, and Reed Garden takes a fairly convincing race win. Malazowski will be second with Draper right behind him in 3rd, and El Neal will be in 4th place. 3rd to 5th, Walters in 6th, and then Burns and Lovesey. And Walters, I should mention, 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th, and Brown coming across the line in 10th. And what was that battle for 12th? That ended up not being too much of the last lap battle maybe some of us were hoping for. So Crowther in 12th place, Stephenson in 14th, and we just got Longzhou. 15 seconds of McCain, not the race that the Frenchman would have really wanted to have. A flash of the lights, though, clearly enjoyed himself out on the track. And Lewis, the other driver, who I think won't be reminiscing on this race too kindly, will come across the line into 20th place. We can bring you your race results, and I think it's no surprise to see Reed Garton at the top of the timing stands. A great race by him, almost a 4-second winning margin over Malazowski in 2nd place. Mark Draper 3rd, El Neal 4th, Arthur Thurtle in 5th, Craig Walters in 6th place, Burns in 7th, Andrew Lovesey in 8th, John Brown in 9th with Mark Brown in 10th. Then we've got Denyer, Crowther, Garrity, Stephenson, Malcolm. Dexter Castro had a superb race, didn't get to mention him too much. Ends up after starting last up into 16th place. Great job by him. Jay Calais in 17th place with Alan McCain in 18th. Longzhou in 19th, Daniel Lewis 20th, Elliot James 21st, Dan Molden 22nd, Ryan Dudley 23rd, Stephen Fry 24th, Graham 25th, and Stuart Gibbons 26th and last. And as we did last week, I was hoping just to have a little bit of a chat to some of our drivers. Really enjoyed that, but I think, judging by the few technical gremlins we're going to have, I'm going to go to another slight intermission, just try and get the technical issue sorted out as best as possible, and we'll be back to bring you race number 2 here from Donington Park. Welcome back to race number 2, and we can get underway for what should be absolutely incredible second race. Scott Malcolm is your pole sitter, Stephenson in second, Garrity in third. Crowther will start in 4th place with Ben Denyer in 5th, Mark Brown in 6th, John Brown in 7th with Andrew Lovesey in 8th place, Stephen Burns 9th with Craig Walters in 10th, Arthur Thurtle in 11th place with Al Neal alongside him in 12th. Draper 13th. He'll be looking for a better race. Malazowski in 14th. Race 1 winner Reed Garden in 15th with Castro just outside that top 15 reverse. He's in 16th place, but we get ready to go racing. You see the Honda. He is your pole sitter, your race leader, and we are underway. It's a good start once again from your top 2 as they all file down now towards turn 1. Walters and Burns having a little bit of a look in the background. Garrity and Crowther, they've had a great start, but Malcolm leads into turn number 1, but goes a little bit wide. This might be a great opportunity for Stephenson to make the move as they head. Draper has had an issue. Mark Draper is off the track. I think he, unfortunately for him, has come a cropper through turn 1. Malcolm leads, Stephenson in second, Garrity in third, Crowther in 4th. Garrity runs a little bit wide though, the hind eye off the track in the background, and that will give the place to Garrity and Crowther. Crowther now tries his hand down the inside, which he does. Crowther finds himself into 3rd place. Stephenson falling down the order in 12th. Malazowski up to 12th with Castro right behind him in 13th. Car off the track in the background. Longzhu is having an issue. The 72 car. Gibbons tries to look down the inside, cuts a little bit of the grass, makes it stick though. Malcolm successfully leads. Garrity right behind him in 2nd place with Crowther in 3rd. John Brown falling down the order in 7th place. Contact between himself and the number 26 car. They're all filing through. They're 4, even 5 wide at the time. Walters has found his way through. Reed Garden, race 1 winners, having an absolutely storming opening lap. He's in 6th place at the moment. He's in the 22 car right on the outside of your screen. They all try to make their way through turn 1. Some do, and unfortunately some do not make it. And I think Thurtle was the one who was caught up in that, the 72 as well. High drama here on the opening lap. And Thurtle now in 17th place, and James falling down the order as well. James coming back on to the track. So Crowther at the moment in 2nd place with Malcolm extending his gap now to about 1.6 seconds. Denyer getting involved in the background. Sends it to the inside. That's a late move through Coppice, a corner. Stephenson tries to hold it, so does so far. A little bit of love tapping, you have to say, on the back straight. Down on to the brakes into the Robertson hairpin. That's a little bit late from Stephenson. Oh, contact with Denyer. Was that netcode? That's a huge hit, and Denyer very much finds himself in the barriers and out of this race. Garrity into the pits as well. So Reed Garden finds himself fairly extraordinary, you have to say, up into 3rd. He's gained simply 12 places since from where he started, of course, race number 1. Can he do the double here today, I wonder? Well, he's got about 17 minutes left of racing to go. Mould and Malazowski in the background. Malazowski off wide. What has happened to him, I wonder? I think he was trying to overtake Dan Mould for 12th place. And can we get a little bit of a replay? We see Mould in the ATR, so you have to say Malazowski just a little bit wide of the mark way before Mould got involved, so you can't blame Dan for any form of incident. Castro trying to find his way through Malazowski as well. Can't though. He still remains in 17th place. His extra Castro, after having a storming opening lap, ended up not really being able to capitalise on that. Crowther sets a new fastest lap, although Reed-Garton technically went quicker, but must have gotten off track at some point on his third trek of the circuit. But Crowther currently the fastest lap holder, at least when you take into account being able to keep the car within the white lines, which is fair to say is a lot easier said than done, especially when you're in these real sort of hand-to-hand combat battles that you just don't really have enough concentration to focus about how much throttle you need to apply through the corners. Neil and Brown, once again, those two going at it. John Brown falling down the order. He's backwards, in fact. Tries now to rejoin the circuit. You see cars filing past him at a great rate of knots. That's Brown and Thurtle making their way through. And disaster once again for him. And let's see if we can actually see what happened to John Brown. So up ahead of him is Lovesey. Oh, he just loses the rear heading into McLean's corner. Very unusual. Is lucky, in fact, to not be collected by anybody else. So a simple driving mistake. And then Stephen Fry, the 33 in the background, I think is also going to be involved in a little bit of an incident at the same corner. Oh, contact between himself and one of the Honda cars, and just once again gets spun around, and disaster for him. Mark Brown and Andrew Lovesey. Lovesey sends it to the inside of the old hairpin. That's going to be a late and brave move. Yes, it is. And now Lovesey coming under pressure from Neil. Contact made between Neil and Lovesey. Was that a little bit of a squeeze there for the number 3? I'm not quite sure, but Neil thought there was a gap, tried to find his way through, and now Dan Mould, what can he do? Can he make the move? He tries to go all the way around the outside. They're still going to be too wide. In fact, by the time they hit the brakes, Neil still ahead of Lovesey. Sorry, Lovesey still ahead of Mould. It's all happening in the commentary booth at the moment. So much action heading out on the track. Don't quite know where to look. Mould, though, heading on to the brakes. Really trying to recover his race. Not been the race he would have wanted. Lovesey goes very wide on the exit, though. That's going to give the place to Mould. Mould now finds himself up into 8th place as the car wildly off the track in the background. That's one of the Audis. Is that Burns? No, Burns, having a look at Calais under braking. Burns, though, cannot find his way through. Up towards your leaders, Malcolm under pressure from Reed-Garton. Reed-Garton trying to go all the way around the outside. Can he be late on the brakes? Can he be brave? A little bit of contact between himself and Malcolm. Once again, a banging doors. I'm surprised that they both ended up or managed to survive without any form of damage on their cars. Malcolm now demoted to 3rd. Reed-Garton in 2nd place. And now if Reed-Garton wants to do the double, if he wants to win both races, he needs to get his way up towards Crowther and make the move just like he did on Malcolm. This is going to be an absolutely show-stopping finish. I almost undoubtedly think so. This battle as well, this is looking pretty handy between Neil and Brown. In fact, that battle really goes all the way down to Malazowski in 13th place, and Dudley and Gibbons in that sort of train isn't too far behind them. Look at that, McCain sets the fastest lap, or at least he did, until Thurtle absolutely smashes it at 1 minute 12.160. That's Thurtle's fastest lap, and you see on the board with him the absolute gaggle of cars he has up ahead of him. Really going to be watching and sort of almost waiting for these two to make contact. Around the outside goes Castro. There's, I think, Gibbons in the background, out of control. Touches Castro. Castro heads off the track. How will he be able to rejoin? These cars don't have tremendous grip on the grass, especially with these front wheel drive machines, and Castro demoted all the way down into 18th place. This has not been Dexter Castro's race one bit, and I think he'll be looking forward to escaping the confines of the Donington circuit, because through bad luck, through an issue in qualifying, I'm not quite sure, it has just not gone his way whatsoever. Crowther, though, already under pressure from Reed-Garton, heading up now towards turn number 1. What can Crowther do to defend? Where can he put his Hyundai car to keep Reed-Garton at bay. And can he do it for the next 11 minutes? I think that's the big question. Heading already into the braking zone. Malcolm and Walters, they're scrapping in the background. You see Malcolm under pressure. Malcolm going from third all the way down into fourth. Will he lose another position? Stephenson very, very quick off the exit. Malcolm compromised between himself and Walters. Crowther under pressure, though, from Ree Garton. Sends it down to the inside once again. Does the 22 car. McLean's really becoming one of his favourite corners to get the moves done in the second race today. And Ree Garton takes the lead, and really Crowther now has to strike while the iron is hot. Ree Garton just has more pace at this phase of the race. You know, Crowther, if he wants this race win, he's going to have to send it. He's going to have to be late. He's going to have to be brave, and he's going to have to do something that might seem a little bit impossible from the cockpit. But we've seen, you know, how controlled Ree Garton is being under braking, but you see that slipstream effect very much on your screen at the moment. Crowther sort of slowly gliding up to the back of Ree Garton, cannot find a way through though into turn one. Brown and Lovesley, that battle very much continues. Brown on the inside, Lovesley on the outside, actually flip those two around. But in the background, the 212 car, that is McCain. He's trying to get involved in on the action as well. McCain just tries to send it to the inside, cannot find his way through on the old hairpin. Lovesley in 8th place with Brown in 9th. What can Lovesley do? Can he go to the outside? No, wants to try and defend as much as he can. Brown almost pushing him through the corner. Contact, in fact, between the 7 and the 3. Now McCain, the 212, he wants to get involved on this action. We head through Coppice Corner on to the back straight. The ever crucial, really, run you see on board with Brown. You see on board with McCain. McCain gaining all the time. That gap now down to 0.2 of a second. A little bit braver on the brakes as well in McCain. Brown takes a whole whack of curb, but that's put him a little bit wide. That's going to give a huge incentive to McCain to get past Brown, but Brown somehow manages to find a little bit of traction, in fact, on the grass. One of the only drivers, I think, to install the lawn mower modification to his car. Jay in the background, Calais, the 89, losing another spot. That's Burns now, the 82 Audi getting past him. We've got Malcolm, El Neil and Mould very much in quick succession as we try to go 3 wide. There's going to be contact between one of them. Mould has to go onto the grass, has to cut the corner to get out of the way of Malcolm and Neil scrapping it out. Lovesley is going to pick the pocket of at least one of them. El Neil demoted down into 8th place. He manages, though, to get away fairly scot-free after the almost massive accident. It could have been an airplane accident in the words of Martin Brundle, I think those two had come together. And Mould has done a great job to escape all of that, but Malcolm now very much on the back of him as they head into the braking zone of the Robertson chicane. Malcolm, though, not getting the best run out. What can Lovesley do? Lovesley, he's been so good at doing exactly this. Wait for the 2 up ahead of them to start scrapping it and then just really strike while the iron is hot, get the moves done. Lovesley setting himself up to get past Malcolm on the exit of turn 1, opens himself up momentarily to Neil. Neil sends it to the inside but couldn't find a way through. Now Malcolm under pressure from Lovesley. Lovesley under pressure from Neil as they head down towards the old hairpin. A lovely late braking manoeuvre from Lovesley. Malcolm now tries to get involved in on the action as well. Neil and Malcolm go side by side through turn number 6. Contact between Malcolm and Lovesley. They're going to try and go 3 wide into McLean's, and it's never ever going to work. Lovesley spins off the track and his race comes to a very, very premature end. Nell gets involved as well. So they head up now towards Coppice Corner. They're still somehow side by side. I can't believe only one car really was ejected from the situation. Malcolm in 8th place, Nell in 9th. Malazowski somehow, after all of the difficulties he's had in race 2, finds himself in 7th place with Brown just up ahead of them in 6th as they all bounce across the curb. And now what can the 41 do? Brown, the 7, tries to find, or tries to defend, moves to the outside. Will he go for a late manoeuvre? No, in fact, allows Malazowski to make the move late on the brakes. A little bit out of control, you have to say, for the 41, but he makes it stick. Nell is off the track. And Neil's race just goes from bad to worse to plain right awful. And I wonder, was that a little bit of contact, or was that a little bit of contact? It certainly was. I'll be actually thankful that that gravel trap was just about in the right spot to keep him from hitting the barriers. And this is what happened to Lovesey. I mean, just basically just, you know, pull it out of the way, and you see Lovesey just returning to the pit, so doesn't want to continue anymore. Such a shame. It was such a great race from him. Really superb race craft on display for most of the race. So Mould on Stephenson. Stephenson tries to go to the outside. Mould on the inside. A little bit of contact there. Mould decides to back out. Tries to get the better run through the Robertson chicane onto the back straight. Mould finds an opening down the inside. Mould could be looking at a 4th place finish here. 5 minutes left to go in this race. Stephenson on the outside. Mould braking a little bit later. And that was fairly easy for the number 80 Dan Mould. Now up into 4th place. 2.4 seconds away from Walters in 3rd. And I wonder, will we see Dan Mould back on the podium? You have to say, only time will tell. McCain, though, very close to Malcolm McCain in the high and dive versus the Honda up towards McLean's corner. We've seen many an overtake here in only the 2nd race. Race 1, it started off, you know, with a lot of interest, a lot of grandeur to it. Sort of petered out towards the end, but race 2 has been start to finish absolute superb action out on the track. McCain brakes a little bit later, heading into the Robertson chicane. Really forces Malcolm, almost seemed like to let off the brakes, almost a little bit of self-preservation going through the Honda driver's mind. Down towards turn 1, they go, McCain. And that very fetching green and black livery. Malcolm, though, runs wide. Has Malcolm got a slowdown? I wonder, that car going... Yes, he has. Look, he's lifting out of the throttle. So Malcolm has somewhere picked up a slowdown. It hasn't come up on my software, but Malcolm, unfortunate with that slowdown, losing out a lot of time. And interestingly, after the race that Elliot James has had, or should I say after the race 1 that Elliot James had, currently finds himself in 15th place, up 6 places from where he started. I don't think I'll be too upset about that, if I'm completely honest. I think I'd be fairly happy. I think another driver that would be fairly happy just to see the back of this race, this fairly difficult time you have to say, but James has done a good job. So is Dexter Castro in 17th place after all the issues he's had. Thurtle, though, having a little bit of a battle. Thurtle on the outside makes his way past McCain. McCain, I think, is another one to fall victim to a slowdown. So McCain getting out of the way. Thurtle now finds himself into the top 10. Next one up on his list will be Malcolm. Walters in 3rd, running a little bit wide. Will this give an opportunity to Mould to make his way through? No, it will not, but Mould now closing in. He is only half a second off Craig Walters in 3rd. Dan Mould up a absolutely staggering 18 places. Reed Garton, in fact, can't really say too much about him either, up 14 from where he started. So 1st and 4th doing a superb job, and I wonder, will we see another place gain for Mould? Will he find himself back on the podium? I've only got about 2 minutes left to find out. Reed Garton set the fastest lap on the last time around. Then we're going to have 2 laps of racing. James, though, off the track in the background, finds his way on. I think that was through turn number 8. as we see Craig Walters under pressure from Mould, heading through the crane curves down towards the old hairpin. We know that you can overtake. We know how easy it is, though, to make a mistake. Walters just about finds the apex. Right on board, you just see how tight this track really is. The TV camera's always a little bit deceptive, but I find especially so at Donington. Now we head towards McLean's corner. Walters on the inside. Mould tried to go all the way around the outside. He's going to be fine until about this point when Walters is going to start understeering into the side of him. But Mould, with a superb job, gets his move done all the way around the outside. And Walters demoted into fourth, with Dan Mould up into third. And Dan Mould, a superb job by him. We're going to have to find a few more adjectives, synonyms to describe Mould's race, along with many of the other drivers today. Been really superb showing in the TCR field. McCain, he's in 11th, so recovering one place after that little transgression he made with the slowdown. Got Malcolm up ahead of him. Thurtle already disposed of Malcolm. Up into 9th place is Arthur Thurtle. White flag flies, 1 lap to go in this race. McCain and Malcolm side by side heading into turn 1, but look at this. Jay Calais in the background sends it to the inside, almost makes contact, just about avoids it. McCain having to go onto the grass to avoid any collision with Malcolm. Malcolm hanging on tooth and nail for his top 10 finish. Burns up ahead of them off the track, I think running a little bit wide through turn number 5, the old hairpin. And McCain, can he capitalise? Can he find his way past Malcolm? I wonder. Stamping on the brakes for the last time as they head into McLean's corner. He's on the exit, but we see Reed Garden going to come across the line. Superb double victory for him. A superb, incredible drive by Callum Reed Garton. Takes 2 wins out of the possible 2 today. And Dan Mould, can't really say too much about him other than a superb drive. He's in 3rd, but let's rejoin. We have Malasowski and Stephenson battling towards the line. McCain and Malcolm, that's going to be a battle for 10th place. They're going to be side by side as they cross the line. Who's going to get that 10th place? It's going to go to Alan McCain. Scott Malcolm losing out at the final millimetres of this race. Calais in 12th, Brown 13th. And then 14th through 17th, all finishing. And now we just wait for the rest of the drivers to come across the line. But all props really have to go to this man, Callum Reed Garton. What an absolutely superb job he did today. Number 22 Hyundai, really the class of the field. And that might be a little bit ominous for what's to come as we head now into the season, the TCR season. And if you're thinking, I'd really like to get involved after seeing what was quite frankly some incredible racing here at Donington, well, I've got some good news for you. There's still a few spots left on the grid, so if you are thinking about joining, you can very much go and join the Discord. You see the link on your screen. It's also in the YouTube description for fortnightly races. First race at Donington National, Nürburgring GP, Road Atlanta, Mid-Ohio, Silverstone Legacy, one of the best versions of Silverstone in my opinion, Zolder, another classic track, and finishing off at a high at Hockenheim. And of course, live commentary right here on the SRL YouTube channel, as that is some fairly nice photo opportunities there for your top 3, Reed Garton, Derek Crowther and Dan Mould, your top 3. In fact, we can bring you your full race to results. And it will be Reed Garton at the top of the stands, Crowther in 2nd, Mould in 3rd with Craig Walters just finishing outside the top 3. He's in 4th with Stephenson alongside him in 5th. Malisowski in 6th place, Mark Brown in 7th, Stephen Burns in 8th, Arthur Thurtle, I have to say, superb recovery drive from him in 9th, with Alan McCain just edging out Scott Malcolm to that 10th place. Jay Calais in 12th place, with John Brown 13th, with Ryan Dudley in 14th place. Elliot James in 15th, with Al Neal in 16th. Dexter Castro 17th, with Stuart Gibbons in 18th place. Alexandra Longju in 19th, with Daniel Lewis 20th. Ben Denyer in 21st, with Andrew Lovesey in 22nd. Daniel Wareham 23rd, with Stephen Fry 24th. Fraser Geraghty and Mark Draper both retired on lap number 3. And if you wanted just to have a little bit of a chat to some of the drivers, wanted to hear about their experiences of today's events, then you're very much in the right spot. I think, firstly, of course, I'm going to have to talk to Callum Reid Garton. I think we need to bring him in and just ask him about how, frankly, crazy his race was. So let's do that right now. Callum, welcome to the commentary booth. That was a fairly incredible race from your side.
Thanks, mate.
I mean, just talk us through it. Did you think after starting 15th in race 2 that you could do it? You could do it all over again and take the race win?
Not really, because this track's quite difficult to overtake on, especially in TCR. So, I was expecting at least like maybe a top 5, but to get a win as well. I mean, that was pretty crazy. But there was a lot of carnage that happened in front of me, and lucky enough, I was in the right place at the right time. So that played dividends towards the finishing position as well. But overall, it was a great race. It was really fun. Really enjoyed myself.
I mean, I don't know how you couldn't have enjoyed yourself, really. I mean, it just seemed to all go perfectly for you. I have to say, are you a little bit upset that you couldn't get the pole position? Because if I'm right, you've got both fastest laps in both races. Obviously, the both race wins. If you'd got that pole, you would have really had the Grand Slam.
Oh no. To be fair, the Elantra takes a while to get its tyres warmed up after the new patch. I mean, today is the first day I've even driven the TCRs after the patch, so, but yeah, it seems the Elantra takes a little bit longer, takes a couple of laps longer for the tyres to actually kick in before you get the grip, because in race 1 I was going wide everywhere for the first 2 laps. I couldn't push the car as much as like the other guys in the Velociter or like the Audi, for instance, and the Civic. So, but yeah, it's a shame, but oh well, I'll take what I can get.
Well, I mean, absolutely, congratulations. And before we let you go and celebrate your superb race wins, is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to at all on the broadcast?
Yeah, thank you to Dan and John and everybody else who was involved, like, you know, setting up this league. They always do a fantastic league. We're all a good bunch of friends who we all race each other frequently, but these guys are trying to get a good community together, and it really shows how far they've actually come, from Facebook forums to racing on Discord, you know, setting up leagues. They've done a fantastic job. Can't thank them enough more. Obviously, to you, Sebastian, thank you for the great commentary as always, mate. And thank you to my sponsors for my race team, Seatbelt.
Some lovely sentiments there. Well, thank you very much, Callum, for coming to talk to us, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time for the first race of the season.
Thank you. Yep, I'll definitely be there.
Awesome, brilliant. Well, thank you very much. That was your double race winner. Absolutely superb job. Tell you what.
Braking, and then I go to late brakes.
That wasn't the right button. We're still getting used to all the different controls in the commentary booth. Don't you worry. We'll work on that a little bit for the season opener. Tell you what, let's have a chat to our second place driver Derek Crowther. Derek, welcome to the commentary booth. That looked fairly fun out there. Are you happy with your second place in the feature race?
I am, yeah. As soon as Cal was behind me, I knew it was coming at some point. He is quicker than me. But I'm happy with second, yeah. From starting 22nd in the first race, I'm happy with that, yeah.
I mean, it sort of seemed one of those races that as long as you could sort of keep it on the track and crucially not run wide, and if you just sort of kept it clean every lap, you were able to gain the positions. Is that sort of almost the thought process that you took going into both races?
Well, yeah, I messed my qualifying up. I was hoping to qualify a bit higher, but yeah, where I started, that was basically what I was trying to do. Just hopefully people made mistakes when we get past. I had a couple of early moments in the first race with Fraser, but it came good in the end. You got to slow down. I think he did.
I actually noticed many drivers, certainly towards the end of both races, picking up slowdowns. Was that a real difficult thing to manage around here? Were they quite strict?
I didn't actually get a slowdown at all, so I don't know. They must have been cutting a bit more than me because I didn't get any at all. So I was quite lucky that way. I think that's what happened to, like I said, in Fraser in the first race. He got a slowdown, which is how I got past him eventually. But no, I didn't get any. So oh, good.
Well, I mean, that's the best way to run your races, just keeping it clean, and it certainly worked for you. So, are you feeling ready for the TCR season? Of course, this is the media day, the sort of the warm up race. Do you feel ready to for the first round in 2 weeks?
Yeah, I think I'm ready now. I was struggling at the beginning with how much the setups had changed, but with the practice now, I think I'm getting there again now. So yeah. Looking forward to it, yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Well, thank you so much for coming to have a chat with us in the commentary booth. I'll say the same as I did to Callum and everybody. Is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to at all on the broadcast?
Obviously, Dan and John for all the work they put in. And you for the great streams that you do. And everyone else that takes part, that's what makes it fun.
Oh, brilliant. I completely echo those sentiments. Well, thank you very much, Derek, and we'll see you in
Thank you
2
very
weeks'
much.
time. Thank you very much.
See you then. Bye, pal.
That was Derek Crowther, your second place. Man, I see I clicked the right button this time. And let's bring in third place in the feature race. Dan, welcome to the commentary booth. And you had a fairly adventurous race. I think you ended up gaining 19 places in the second race. I mean, you must be pretty happy with that in the end?
Yeah. So, first race was a disaster. My dash, I used my phone as a dash, and I accidentally hit the sleep button on my phone, and it turned it off. And I actually rely on the dash so much, and it just felt alien not having it. So I was trying to put it on, and then I just lost it on the last turn. I think the last chicane, and I tried to keep it off the track, but I think Elliot went a little bit wide. Just slammed in the back of me. I didn't realise I had as much damage as I did, and getting down towards the old hairpin, it just completely span around on me. I came reversed down the track. But yeah, I had a good second race. I enjoyed it, battling through the pack. It looked a good race. It was hectic, really was. I'm hoping we get some more races in for the first race. 26 tonight. Yeah, it was madness.
I mean, it was an absolute joy to commentate over, even with the few technical issues that we had on the stream. And what was interesting is actually we didn't get to see sort of why you ended up backwards. All we saw is you just reversing down the track, down the corner curves, and yeah, sort of knew that something hadn't gone to plan. So what was your mindset like for race 2? Were you just like, I'm just going to go out there, I'm going to have fun, I'm just going to see, you know, where I end up? Or were you like, I want to get a podium, I just need to work as hard as I can so I can stand on the podium for race 2?
I mean, when you start that far down the pack, you know, you don't expect to, you know, top 10, you know, at the best. And then obviously people are having battles, and you can take advantage of that. And then just as, you know, as the positions start to gain, you think, oh, hang on a minute, you know, I'm in for a chance here, you know. And when I got past Craig, I was like, you know what, I'm going to try and fight for second here. But obviously time ticked down, and I knew as soon as I saw that white flag, I wasn't going to get anywhere near deck, and credit to him, he's done well there to go from where he started to where he finished. Cal is normal, standard, lightning pace. I was hoping for a good battle with Cal, but it'll come. I'm sure it will.
No, I'm sure it will, and you know it was so good to watch, and really looking forward to getting the season fully underway. So you know, I guess it's good that this is a practice race, and you said you had that issue with your dash. You're going to go away and sort of engineer a way so that doesn't happen again, because it sounds like it was fairly mission critical.
Yeah, just don't use my new phone. Use my old phone, basically. The one that I've got as a dash. I just couldn't be bothered to get off my arse and go and get it. So yeah, just don't be lazy. Is the answer to that one.
It's always easier said than done, though. I have to say it's a difficult game. Well, thank you so much, Dan, once again for coming and talking to us in the commentary booth. Anybody you'd like to give a shout out to at all?
Anybody who's watching, guys, taking part, yourself. Anybody who is watching who wants to get involved. Obviously, this is the media race. The actual season starts in 2 weeks, so there is still time to sign up. We have got several places left, so if you are interested, join the Discord, contact me or John, and get yourself involved.
I certainly echo those sentiments. Yeah, I mean, 26 cars was superb to watch. I can only imagine how much what more craziness could be in store if we can add a few more onto the grid. Well, thank you very much, Dan.
Thanks, Seb. See you, bud.
See you. And that was your third place man in the feature race, Dan Mould, who had a superb drive in the end. I think we have time for a few more drivers, and I think we might have Scott Malcolm, who I wonder if Kilwar can explain what happened to his race. Welcome to the commentary booth, Scott. Great to hear from you. That looked like a fairly good race out there. You must be a little bit disappointed though after starting, how high up you did in the second race to finish in 11th, or are you pretty happy in the end?
No, it's the first time I've ever raced this car in the league, so to get pole, the bonus, to finish where I am was quite surprising. But I think I'll go back to a car that I know quite well next week or 2 weeks' time.
Interesting. So is this one of the first times you've driven the Honda then?
Yeah. Oh, aye. Actually, I thought I'd try it. I thought I'd give it a go, see what it was like. I'd always quite fancied it when it came out, but I just couldn't get to grips with it. I always like to have a wee bit of change now and again, but that'll be getting chucked in the bin next week.
I mean, I guess that's the wonder of a media race. You can sort of try it out and see what suits your driving style better. I've asked everybody this so far. Are you feeling prepared for the season to start? Are we going to see Scott Malcolm up on the podium, do you reckon?
With the standard of the guys that's in this league now, nah, I can't see that happening. Maybe top 10s a few times, but nah, you'll not see me on the podium now. I'm well past that now. Get goals for this cup.
Well, I mean, you had some great battles. I think most of the action was surrounding you today, and it was so fun to watch you in the wheel-to-wheel battles that you had. Is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to at all?
Well, obviously Dan and John for making this league happen. Yourself for taking the time to commentate in the podcast, and the rest of the drivers. I know some of them can't understand me in the chat, but I'll try my best, and we'll get the subtitles ready for next week.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for coming to have a chat with us in the commentary booth, and congratulations on your race result today, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time.
Oh yeah, aye, definitely.
Thank you very much. That was Scott Malcolm, finished 11th in race number 2, and of course started on the pole. And I think we have time for one very quick interview. We have Mark Draper with us. Mark, not the race that you would have wanted today. I mean, started on pole at the very start. It seems forever ago. I mean, talk us through it. How do you summarise?
Well, race one was, to be honest, I was shocked to be on pole because Dan and Callum are rapid. So some of the lads in here. So at first I was like a bit nervous. Obviously never starting from pole in this league or anything like that. Got a good start, and then done a couple of good, like reasonable laps, warmed the tyres up, and Dan and Callum were battling. I thought, right, well, this is going to be a win for me. If these two keep battling, I can just do my pace and I'll edge away. But then something happened with Dan, I think, and then I knew as soon as Callum got into a rhythm he was going to catch me. So I just kept trying to do my pace, but I kept overdriving. I kept looking in my mirrors, sweating a bit, and then when he did catch me, I made a mistake. I made it easy for him. And then the same happened with Chris behind. I made the mistake, got to slow down, and then he was in tow, caught me. Then he stuck his nose in, and I bottled it again. So it's my own fault, I suppose. I managed to catch Chris again at the end and have a good battle. Try to have a little bit of a battle with him, and then race 2 was it's just one of them things that happens now and again, doesn't it? Where someone makes a mistake and they try to come back on track, and then the grass flicks them. So it happens.
Yeah, it certainly seemed like you got unlucky at certain points. I think I even called in commentary in the first race. Well, I think Mark's got this in the lead. He just looks so commanding. I think, Cannon was saying that the Hyundai is fairly slow to warm up its tyres, and once it does, it's fairly rapid. But those first few laps, it's really difficult. So you managed to extend that gap, and then unfortunately for you, Callum was a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
At times. But of course, it's only the media race. 2 weeks time the season starts. You're one of the few Audi drivers on the grid. Are you a fan of the Audi, or are you thinking of almost crossing to the dark side and going for a Hyundai or a Honda?
Honestly, it was going to be close because my lap times are very similar, but the Veloster is just so planted. It feels like it's on rails. So I was going to go to the Veloster tonight, but then I realised I don't have a dual clutch or anything to start it. So I thought, well, I know roughly how to start the Audi, and I'll just stick with the Audi tonight. But it depends, see how the Audi performs in the next race as well. Because I do like the Audi, but like the Honda, it suffers a little bit from understeer and a bit too much oversteer sometimes. But maybe it's just the way I drive them. But yeah, well, I did enjoy the Audi tonight.
Oh, you do better than me in these TCRs. I'm absolutely hopeless. My brain does not function with front wheel drive cars whatsoever.
Yeah, they are definitely a different animal compared to the normal rear wheels.
Yeah, most definitely. So 2 weeks time, do you think you might be on pole again? Do you think we might be able to see you almost get that win that it almost felt like you deserved today?
I would like to be on pole, but the competition in this league is so strong. Like a podium for me, I'll be well happy in a good race, like good door racing. But yeah, hopefully I'll be all right.
Well, fingers crossed for you. So I'll ask the same thing I've asked to everybody so far. Is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to at all on the broadcast?
I was probably going to say exactly the same as everyone else said. Is just the lads that are in the league. Some of the new lads that have joined as well. They're quick and clean. And you for putting the broadcast on, commenting.
Absolutely no worries, and echo those sentiments about Dan and John. Well, thank you very much, Mark, for taking the time to come and talk to us in the commentary booth, and we'll see you 2 weeks time for when the season starts proper.
Okay, mate, cheers, bye.
And that was Mark Draper, your pole sitter in qualifying. Unfortunately, the race did not go necessarily to plan for him, but we'll be seeing him in 2 weeks' time to see if he can really reclaim what maybe could have been. Well, what an absolutely superb race that we have had tonight. And if you're wanting a little bit more action, then next week we'll be back with the GT4s. The last race at Interlagos was fairly spectacular. If you haven't caught it, I would go and watch the video or the VOD. It was just superb, so entertaining. And we head now to Alton Park, a real fan favourite, you have to say. Superb little track, and I really think that the GT4s around there will be fairly superb. But then if you're a real TCR fanatic and you only really want to drive those TCRs, then, well, we'll be 1 week away where we'll go to Hockenheim, the outer layout. And that will be on the 30th of September. Well, thank you very much for joining us here today. My name has been Sebastian Bosher-Williams, and it's been an absolute pleasure to commentate on a TCR Media Day for Season 4 of the SRL TCR League. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we will see you again very, very soon.